Hey, what's up, Dylan? My name's Jackson. I'm entering your contest for 7,000 subscribers. Congratulations, by the way. Love watching all your videos. So, first question was top finds that you've ever gotten. So, I pulled out three that I thought were some of my better finds. This is Roar by Voivod, or however you want to say it. It's really Roar with a bunch of letters in it. Um, but the special thing about this, it's not a super valuable record. I mean, it's like 30 or 40 bucks. But I found this at a half price books outlet store as a first press. I probably paid $5 for it. Got it for really cheap. There's the label there, Combat Records. So that was a really cool find, finding a good metal album at a half price books of all places in really good shape for really cheap. Secondly, another good find. Uh, so I'm from Rockford, Illinois, which is home to Cheap Trick. So everybody here is all Cheap Trick happy. Everybody loves Cheap Trick. But we've also had a lot of really good local bands over the years. Unfortunately, I was too young to ever see any of them because a lot of them were around in the 70s and whatnot. But a band that was based in Rockford that gained some popularity was this band called Albatross. This was the only album they released, a really good psych album. I had a copy of this. I inherited it from my uncle, but I had to sell the album, so I didn't have one. And then a month or so later, this popped up on Facebook Marketplace, and he was selling it for a really good price. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this album, but it is pretty valuable, and it's a pretty clean copy. It's got some scratches, but it was a very good find. I got it for a really good price. And then lastly, this actually happened just within the past month. This was a very strange find. This may not look like much. It's just a 78 album, Glenn Miller. But I kind of have this stacked behind some CD racks I have in my room. And I was moving some stuff and it fell over and all the 78s fell out. And so I'm picking them up. And the ones for the album look like this. They've got the RCA Victor label. Pretty standard. And then one didn't look like the rest. And I was looking at it and I went to find a little more about it, and it turns out it is one of, let me see if I hope you can see that. That is one of Ma Rainey's first ever 78s. So this was released in 1924. It's Bad Luck Blues on the A side and those All Night Long Blues on the B side. And this just fell out of this Glenn Miller 78 album. So I thought that was a pretty cool find. I didn't even know I had it, even though I had the actual album. All right, this is Jackson from the future. I just had to move back into college, and so I waited to film the second question of the contest for here because the album that has my favorite song of all time on it, or best favorite, whatever you want to call it, was at school with me. So as you can see, I've got my setup here with me at college, got some records, but the one I had here that contains, in my opinion, the best and also my favorite song of all time is Brain Salad Surgery by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Certainly not a rare record, but in my opinion, Karn Evil 9 is the best song ever written. Super musicianship by all three guys in the band. Definitely one of my favorites to listen to, and it's a real treat to listen to on vinyl. All the parts, everything just runs together very well. So a fantastic song, definitely my favorite song of all time. All right, so question 3 is how do you keep track of your collection? Mainly, I keep track of it through Discogs. I'm sure a lot of people do. I've got it sorted by artists and everything. So that's pretty standard. I've got everything cataloged. Unfortunately, I did not mark down where I got a lot of things from, so I'm now just trying to remember where I purchased a lot of these records or who I got them from. So hopefully that comes together pretty soon and I figure that out. But otherwise, this is the main way. I've got all my different folders up here. I've got my 10-inch, 12-inch, 7-inch, 8-track cassette CDs. So that's all organized. That's how I mostly keep track. Thankfully, I've only double bought an album once when I didn't mean to. I accidentally bought Fair Warning by Van Halen twice. Didn't know I already had it. So that's when I kind of started keeping better track of all my records. And then in my room, this is how I've got everything organized. It's a little chaotic. It's a small room, but I've got the records starting here with A and B, and that just kind of goes over all the way down, and this goes down to H here. And I've got this little crate here that goes to I and J. And I apologize for the lighting here. It's not very bright, but in my closet I've got the rest of the J all the way to some of the L's. And then on the other side, there's my box of 7 inches and 10 inches. And then under here, you can't really see it, but there's a stack of records right here. And that goes to around the M's. Then M's come out here, and then it just goes back down the alphabet. So I'm a little out of room, but I'll figure something out. And then CDs, I've got, just some basic CD racks. I've got the bigger stuff up here, some 8 tracks too. So I got that. CDs come down here, and then come down here. Yeah, that's how I keep track of everything. All right, next up is a record that I would never sell. And I've had this record for a while, but what made it why I wouldn't sell it happened over the summer. David Ellefson, the bassist from Megadeth, came and he came to my hometown, and he was doing a show at one of the bars in my town, and he was touring for his solo album that came out in the summer. And he was doing a meet and greet at a local record store, and I was one of the first people in line. So I got to meet him. This is a first press of Peace Sells, and got it signed by him right there. So that was very exciting. And then also, I caught a pic at the show. My girlfriend and I were front row, so that made it really special too. So I'll never sell this because meeting him was really awesome. He's a super cool dude. Signed the album. We bought his book and CD at the show, and he signed all that, took all the pictures he wanted. So a lot of special memories associated with this album. Next was your favorite artist, band, or record-related documentary. This was very easy for me. As you can see, I'm a pretty big Rush fan. I've got a Signals poster back here. Some albums up on the wall. I've got some posters behind me. Rest in peace, Neil. It's awful. Best drummer of all time. And this was the documentary that got me into them, Rush Beyond the Lighted Stage. This is a fantastic documentary that goes through their childhood straight through every album that the band did. So it's in chronological order. Easy to follow, easy to become a fan of the guys after watching it. It's what made me a really big fan. This and the Clockwork Angels album really got me into Rush. So I can thank this documentary for making me enjoy the band so much. All right, question 6 was favorite album you've received as a gift. I actually picked 2. I hope that's not against the rules. I couldn't pick between them, so it's what I had to do. This Christmas, this was the coolest, one of the coolest gifts I got. Very happy I got it. This is the Sleep Live at Third Man Records box set. This comes with a patch and a replica poster from the show. 4 LPs, all on different colors. This is cut and mixed live while they're playing, so there's no overdubbing, editing, anything. This is the show that they played there. I'm a huge Sleep fan. I saw them over the summer. It was the loudest show I've ever been to, but I was very excited to get this. And then the other one, I actually got this as a graduation present when I graduated from high school. One of my good friends came, and her mom gave her some records to give me as a graduation present. And most of it was pretty basic stuff, nothing really special. And then I got this. At the time, I did not know what this was. This is Ancient Greece. The title is Women and Children First. This is a first U.S. press. I didn't know what this was when I was in high school. And then as I started putting things onto Discogs, I found out, wow, this is actually a decently valuable album. And I pulled it out to listen to it for the first time. And I found out that is a promo copy of the album. So that was a very cool find. I started listening to it. It's a great album. It's not like crazy valuable. I mean, $60, but to me that's a pretty valuable album because I don't have a ton of super rare stuff. That's a very valuable album to me, and just the story of how I got it was pretty cool. And I asked her later, I said, does your mom know what this album was? She said, no, she got him from some other guy. She doesn't care about him. So I don't know how it got into her hands, but I'm very happy I got it. So those were two of my favorite records that I've received as gifts. All right, and the last question was, what is your listening ritual? I don't necessarily have a specific ritual per se. What I usually do, I just kind of kick back. I usually scroll through Discogs while I'm listening, or I read a book or something. I've got a lot of artist autobiographies that if I put on their music, I like to read the book with it. And then otherwise, I usually light some incense in the room, make everything smell real nice, and just kick back and relax. But other than that, not a huge listening ritual. I just kind of enjoy it however I can. So that's my entry for the contest. Once again, Dylan, congrats for 7,000 subscribers. Keep it up with the great content, and thanks for watching.